Wow, I'm on a roll today. Okay, I just posted a video I did the other day. It was actually 2 or 3 videos, but my memory and my camera or phone was screwing up. So I was showing everyone about a 394, 395 case, putting the bearings in and the crank in and pressing it all together. I missed a little area there where when I was putting the bearing into the pocket of the case, when I was heating it up. And when I was doing that, basically the bearing just falls in. Just goes clink, down he goes, put some oil around it, away you go. So I missed that little part of it, okay? Plus I also missed, I put the seals in after I positioned the crank properly. And I just want to show you now on putting seals on this model particularly. You got a seal sleeve, okay? There's 2 different size Husqvarna ones. One for 394s, 2100s, 390s, a few other models. Also, there's a thinner one that would go like on 266s, 272s, and smaller series saws. So you put this crank sleeve on, and a lot of people, if you don't have these, other people have come up with like putting like a piece of a tin around here or some sort of plastic and go on there and get it over that lip, eh? Some saws, if you're really careful on some different models, you can put the seal on and kind of work the inner lip over the little shoulder, then you can press it down. But you got to be really careful about that, okay? But with a sleeve like this, it's very simple. I put it on the crankshaft now, okay? I put just a tad of oil on it, okay? Just a little bit, just to slide it on better, eh? Get your seal, kind of wiggle it around, get it on there, and get yourself a sleeve or a socket or something that fits the seal properly. I just happen to have the right stuff, right? Of course I do, right? So I put that over the crank, then I push the seal down, tap it some more till it bottoms, done. Seal's in. Okay? That's the right depth, and it's right on the money in there, okay? That's the clutch side. Flywheel side, same sort of deal. At least 390s, the 385s, and 372s. There's no shoulder. You can just put it on there without using a sleeve. But this one, you have to use that sleeve. Where did I put it? Oh, it's stuck into the little tool there. Okay. All right. So, okay, that one on there. Next seal. Work it over there a bit. Oh, put a little oil on it. It still has some on it, but let's put a little on it anyways. Okay. Oil won't hurt anything. Okay, slide that seal over there. Come on over there, buddy. There you go. Okay. Now this one here, because it has to sit down a little farther, I have a different pusher. You can still use a socket if you got the right size socket, eh? Like you take, you know, let's say, I don't know, 3/4 or something. Something that's going to fit the seal just right. You can push it down with that. In case you don't have this, okay? So you got to improvise. You got to MacGyver it. Hey, remember that old show, MacGyver? Okay, get that on there. Oh, this one doesn't fit on there very good. Huh. Okay, I'm going to use this old style one, but I'm going to show you in a sec how I'm going to get it down farther. So let's get it on. Smack it till it touches. Take this off. Now it needs to go down a little farther, so I'm going to use this one to get it down to the right position. Okay, wham, bam, done. Okay, there you go. That's the seal installation of a 394, 395 type bottom end. Also 2100, 288, and a few different other models. Okay, there you go. Crank's turning good, new seals, new bearings, and then we'll get together to assemble this unit here. Okay, and I'll do a video of that as well. 385 and 390 bearings are a little different. This model, they just push right in and go up against the side of the case, eh? There's no having to position it or anything. The 385, 391 has the seal built into it, like a lot of the new Husqvarna bearings, eh? I don't really like this style, but they've gone to it, and there's nothing I can change about it, okay? So this seal here is in there, so you don't want to heat this bearing and wreck the seal. But you can heat the case and just put this bearing in until it's flush with the surface of the case here, okay? The inner part of the case here, where the pocket is, right even, okay? Then once it's right even, I push the crank into the ignition side bearing of the other crankcase, of the ignition side of the crankcase, okay? Then when I put this one on, what I do is I have a special tool here. This washer, let's just say this bearing's on here, okay? This washer's going to sit against the bearing race, inner race of the bearing. Then I'm going to put this on. Then I'm going to thread, pretend the crankshaft's in there. Thread this tool on here, left-hand thread. Then I'm going to tighten this nut against this sleeve. Then I'm going to turn this left-hand thread, and it's going to pull the crank case and bearing perfectly onto the crankshaft. And I'll show you a video about that when I do it tomorrow, okay? I just wanted to show you that. So there's a few different ways of doing bearings on Huskies that can be something a little complicated if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, watch the video or ask a dealer. Don't wreck it. Okay, so I talked a lot today about the storm coming. Storms coming everywhere. Everyone's getting cold. Let's go over a carburetor that would be just a regular kind of carburetor that you would see on any generator, power plant type thing. This is a carburetor off a Honda water pump that I got sitting over on the other bench over there for my friend Ray Nasby. He lives up the road from me here, and he's got a little farm and little retail store of some gifts and stuff. I'm just going to show you this carburetor because it's pretty much the same. Any float carburetor is pretty much the same on a generator, a water pump, lawn tractor, whatever. So let's just go over it in case your generator isn't running tonight when the power goes out. I'm going to show you how to clean your carburetor. What we have here is something that could be a little different. Every unit has a little bit different, like the throttle rod or the choke rod could be different, but don't be scared. Just get in there with some sockets and screwdrivers and take your carburetor off. Just watch you don't wreck your fuel line. You don't have the fuel shut off, obviously, and you know, pinch it off if you have to. I just pinched that one off with a pair of vice grips so it didn't leak all over me. And you know, get the carburetor off, inspect it, then take it apart. Let's take the float bowl off. And right here is what I talked about earlier on a video, is where a lot of people will run their machines dry, but there's still about that much of gas still left in the carburetor. Okay? You can run it dry, but it always has gas left in it a little bit, okay? So take this bowl off, and right here is actually your drain for your bowl. Some have a slotted little screw in there you undo, so you can drain that fuel out. But you're better off taking, if it's not working right for you, take the bowl right off, okay? So we're gonna take the bowl off. You gotta watch some carburetors. The bowl nut actually has a main jet right in it on certain different type of ones like Tecumseh's and a few different ones. Okay, so get that off. Take your bowl off. Inspect it. If there's water or rust in it, obviously clean the bowl. All right. Now in here we have a main jet down in here inside. So you want to be really careful. Let's take our float off first here. There's just a pin that holds it in. It's just free rides in there, okay? So take the pin out. Let's take the floated needle out. Like I say, this isn't the same carburetor you might be working on, but it's all very similar, okay? And when you take these jets out, they're all brass, okay? So you got to make sure you have the right screwdriver that matches that jet. And if it's an old unit and it's corroded, you might have a hard time getting it out. So you need the exact perfect screwdriver to fit that jet, okay? I have a lot of different screwdrivers, and I have what they call carpentry finishes or cabinet finishers screwdrivers that are narrower, and the blades are, you know, a straight blade, right? This one here is a little narrow, so I don't want to use it. Let's try another one. This is my favorite screwdriver, actually. You know, we all got our favorite tools, right? Okay, so that one fits it pretty good. So a little narrow too. Let's try one more. I have these great big long ones. I don't know why I get these great big long ones, but look at that. It fits in there. Okay, and the width is perfect. That's why I have them, I guess. So let's go in there. Take this jet out. Okay. Just make sure it fits right. Don't strip it or you'll never get it out. You'll have to use an easy out and it's super hard to get out. Okay, so loosen it all the way. Give it a little tap. Awesome. This thing's pretty new. I'm working on something pretty new, but if you're working on something older, you could have problems with this being corroded and whatnot. So the main jet came out, the emulsion tube came out, and what the emulsion tube is it feeds all the fuel to your idle circuit, low speed circuit, and high speed circuit, all the circuits. Okay, so you want to make sure every little hole in this emulsion tube is clear, and then you can also see through it, right? Same with the main jet. Now the way you can clean these jets, you can either put them in an ultrasonic cleaner, but most people don't have one at home. So you can, what actually works really good is a welding tip cleaner. You know, it's got all the little different sizes of wire for different sizes of tips to clean. You can go in these holes and clean these little holes, right? Or you have fancy stuff like me, where I have an indexed carburetor jetting drill bits. Okay, I can change different sizes of main jets with these different drills. What you can find is your right little drill bit that fits the main jet. Okay, so it just kind of goes through and just run it back and forth in there and then clean it out. Don't go to an oversized one because you'll oversize your main jet and the thing will run too rich and won't tune right. Some stuff like Chinese generators and some Chinese aftermarket Honda motors, I actually drill the main jets out one size bigger and make them run a little richer because they run too lean and they surge, right? So that's not a bad thing to do. So look at your carburetor. If you have some brake clean, like so, blow everything out on it, okay? Where your fuel goes in, through your needle and seat, clean these jets. Then put it back together, and hopefully your unit will run properly. Let's just slide this back in now. This one's perfectly clean. Okay. I should have had a dirty, crummy one to show you that I could have put in my ultrasonic cleaner that's over there all heated up, ready to go. But I don't. So let's get the main jet back in. And whatever. Doesn't have to be super tight, because if it's super tight and next time you do it, it's a bit corroded, it'll be very hard to get out. Let's put our float and our needle back on. Just be careful you didn't have the needle fall off the float, okay? This one's a plastic one. And on these Honda carburetors, you cannot replace the seat in the carburetors. And if it leaks and flooding, you have to replace the carburetor. There's cheaper aftermarket carburetors you can get for Hondas that are a lot cheaper, like a lot. But buyer beware. Some don't work as good as the original was. So if you're a professional, like a professional contractor or a construction guy, buy the OEM ones. You can't go wrong. Sure, it costs you extra bit of money, but you know what? You're making money with it. And that's the ticket. If you're just a homeowner, sure, buy the cheaper one, and hopefully it works for you, okay? So get your carburetors cleaned up. Make sure you got good fuel flow out of your gas tank. And sometimes in the gas tanks, you know, they could be rusted, and where the petcock is, where the fuel comes out, sometimes there's a screen in there that could get clogged up and rusted. So you want to like make sure that's clear. You can order petcocks off of Amazon for lots of different Chinese or Asian aftermarket generators, or even Honda ones. So you want to just change that whole system and make sure your tank's clean. If your tank's a bit rusty, you can always take your tank off. And what I used to do years ago, I'd put a bunch of rocks in the tank, shake the crap out of it, right, with some gas in or bar salt. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, empty it, shake it out, empty it, shake it out, empty it. Do it 3 or 4 times, and you might get enough of the scaling out of it that it'll work again. Or you can buy aftermarket tanks for Hondas and different stuff that are cheap. So if you're a construction worker or a professional, again, just buy the original one or the aftermarket one and put on so it's nice and clean, so your carburetor's not getting filled up with rust and you're constantly cleaning it. So there you go, man. If your generator and your equipment isn't running good tonight or tomorrow after these storms, and you know what? It's just right here I'm talking about. You know, there's a lot of places around North America right now, the US, Eastern Canada, that have very cold weather and people are having problems. You know, a lot of people on the Gulf Islands here around Vancouver Island that have no electricity or have power outages all the time, which happens a lot. Some people go days without power. Have yourself a standby generator. Don't be cheap. Go out and buy a Generac system or something, and you can wire it into your house. Get an electrician to come in and put a like a switch in there, so when your power goes out, it'll transfer over and flick your generator on. So that way you can still keep your lovely deer meat, your moose meat, your elk meat that you got this winter that you went hunting for. You don't want it to spoil, man. You want it to keep that fridge going. So the fridge and freezers are their most important thing, and of course heat. So, you know, do it right. There's lots of other types of systems too, like battery banks that people use with solar power in some of these Gulf Islands, and there's also some certain generators that I was thinking of getting into years ago that are pretty much can run a whole house as long as you have like a little wind thing or solar panels. It'll keep that generator going, and that generator, which is a battery bank system, can run your whole house, right? There's lots of different brands of them out there these days. So if you're in that kind of situation, maybe look up something like that. So there you go. Little tech tip of the day. Went over those crankcases again. Sorry about that video. It was a little bit lame, but I'm getting better at figuring out how to link them together. And sorry, buddy, I'm going to give you a call, Mr. Appleton. Dustin Appleton, yes. I meant to call you because obviously that 390 had a bad bearing in the bottom, and that's why probably wrecked the last cylinder kit. And a good thing you didn't run anymore with that new cylinder kit. So tomorrow I'm going to put new bearings in it for you and get that thing happening for you. So there you go. That's it. I'm going to go clean up now and get supper happening for Shelly. She went skiing yesterday. It was a lovely day skiing. It was probably one of the nicest days on the mountain so far. She lucked out and went on the right day. But she was quite sore. I would be too, because there's muscles you use that you never use all year. So she's gone to a massage tonight, and get home, I'll feed her a nice, making some nice homemade chicken burgers tonight. I got the chicken soaking in some buttermilk. Donnie's a pro chef too, eh? Not certified. I just love to cook. And obviously eat, as you can see. Anyways, keep your saw on the wood, stick in the ice, rubbing her up. Keep that power equipment going for you if you have any issues tonight. Good luck out there, and thanks for watching the channel. Have a great day. Bye now.